So in October last year, I participated in the Arctic Circle project. The residency is run by the Farm Foundation, or the Farm Foundation for the Arts and Sciences, and they're based in New York. So there were 18 of us from around the world, mostly visual artists. I was the only choreographer on there, but there was a sound artist and lots of photographers and animator. And we spent 18 days voyaging around the high Arctic, around the archipelago of Svalbard. So we slept and ate on a boat, on a little research sailing vessel, and then daily we'd land, and if the weather permitted, and we would work on land, usually in the morning for a few hours, go back and have lunch and warm up, and then go back in the afternoon and try and do some more work. And we'd have to stay in a certain area because of the danger of polar bears. Not that I saw a single one. But we were pottering around on our own project, so I've got some really interesting images and kind of memories of us sort of within this enclosed space, within this immense white landscape, these little humans buzzing about working. One of the biggest things that came out of my experience in the Arctic, what I felt so strongly when I was there, I thought I went there as an artist who was there to make work about issues of our time. That's the prerogative of the residency. And so, of course, you go there with this assumption that you're going to make this work about. I thought I'd make this work about climate change or about, these really political ideas about that space. And instead I went there and I was just overwhelmed by the beauty of the space, but at the same time the existence of a real sense of sadness that I had about being there and knowing these scientific facts about the space and what we're losing. And so these contradictions and these tensions between these opposite emotions and ideas of strength and fragility and of hope and of fear, and of awe and beauty and admiration for this space, and sadness of loss and disintegration of it, was really magnified for me in that space. And it's something I feel a lot on a day-to-day level about the environment, just me personally, but I think it is for many other people. It's also these feelings of oppositions exist in other ways in life. I was also really interested while I was there. I got really interested in the micro and the macro. So when you first go into that space, you see this immense landscape, and it's amazing. But then I started to look really close at things, and especially because I was recording with this sound recorder, so I'd sort of get really intimate with the ice. and then you started to see that this immense landscape was made up of all these little bits and all these cracks and all these fractures and all these, in a funny way, all these, what you might say is broken or little pieces and fragile things came together to make this immensely beautiful, inspiring space. I worked in the studio with 2 dancers over a 3-week period, and during which time some other key creative collaborators came in, so sound designer and lighting designer, and some conversations with the set designer started to happen as well, so that we started to feed some of those production elements into the work at an early stage. Because it's such an immense concept and there are these contradictions and extremities, so I tried to actually go to a really simple place, and we worked with words like disintegration and loss were really key words in the space that we were trying to work with. And we also worked with really quite literal, physical scores that related to the space, to this cold space. So we would also work with ideas of being frozen, of melting, of fracturing, and placing these physicalities of the landscape onto the human form. So the majority of our time was spent in the studio looking at the movement and the choreography of the work, but also in relationship to the space and what the design elements might be that that contribute to telling this story or this idea. I was trying to find a way to express these emotions about a space as a human being. Still don't think I found all the answers, but every now and again we'd make a little breakthrough.